Welcome back for another week at DFS PGA, everyone. We're here this week for the Dean and Deluca Invitational from Colonial Country Club. Been absent for a few weeks, ready to get back, so we're just going to go through the processes here. Going to go through some of my favorite picks using my DFS PGA cheat sheet. And to get to that cheat sheet, you're going to want to go to dailyfantasysportsrankings.com, dfsr.com for short. Tonight, I got the article done today, so it's sitting right there on the main page at the top. If you're looking for it, possibly looking at this video on Wednesday, you're going to want to go to Other. And at the top of the Other, you're going to find it there as well, Dean and Deluca, DFS PGA picks for DraftKings. Now, this week, there is no DFS PGA when it comes to FanDuel, so we're just going to concentrate on DraftKings. And to get to that cheat sheet I was talking about, what we're going to do is just scroll down here a bit. We're going to click on the link here, and when you click on that link or the DFS PGA cheat sheet link, what that's going to do is open up a cheat sheet. That cheat sheet is going to be view only. You're only going to be able to, pretty much see what you see there. You're not going to be able to make your own model. So to do that, you're going to want to go to File, make a copy, name it whatever you want. If you're going to be accessing it a few times before lineup lock, click OK. It's going to open up another sheet. You can close the original one. And now what you can do is sort these columns. So for instance, if we're looking at strokes gained approach, what we're going to do is we're going to go to data, sort A to Z, which would be lowest to highest. Now that you've opened your own, you can sort that column and you can see guys that rank better in that column. So that's one thing that you can do by making your own as well as your own model. So as you can see here, par 4 scoring average, like I talked about in the article, is going to be my top stat this week. Bogey avoidance pretty high. Par 5 birdie or better percentage, especially on that hole number 1. We're looking at 8+ eagles in three straight years now. So birdie or better percentage always correlates high with DraftKings scoring. And then strokes gained around the green, a little bit of strokes gained approach, some putting, and some off the tee mixed in there as well. Always try and add up to 100 here. And then scrolling over and looking at the stats, history, and form ranks. This week I like stats, a little bit of history, and then some form down there, 20%. What you see down here on this column, I've just highlighted guys that rank inside, obviously, the top 15 in all three, stats, history, and form, top 25. And if we actually sort by salary, we can have a look here and see that there's only one player, Sergio Garcia, who ranks inside the top 10 in all three, stats, history, and form. 3 more players that rank inside the top 15, Adam Hadwin, Tony Finau, Jason Duffner. And then there is Brad Snedeker, who ranks inside the top 20 in all categories. And then Mark Leishman and Kevin Kistner, who rank inside the top 25 in all three. So I've highlighted those guys in green. They're going to be kind of my main targets this week. They kind of hit on all categories. The guy that I'm probably looking at the least, maybe just due to the recent little bit of wrist injury, is going to be Brad Snedeker, but I think that makes him possibly a better GPP play. He missed the cut last week. I think he could rebound. He's going to be really low owned again. So, I mean, for GPP, he's an excellent pivot off some of these other guys that are going to be high owned, like Adam Hadwin's going to be high owned. He's 3rd overall in weighted rankings. Tony Finau doesn't seem like he's going to fit the course, but he's finished 19th, 34th here in the past. He's coming in with some good form, and actually looking at his strokes gained stats, he is 3rd overall in strokes gained off the tee, 13th in approach, and actually 3rd overall in strokes gained approach off the tee, which is like a new ball striking kind of statistic, I guess, that I'm using. Scrolling over a little more, he's 6th in par 4 scoring average, 11th in par 5 birdie or better percentage, and actually 8th in overall birdie or percentage. I think a lot of people see Finau as a long ball guy, so I think he might be a little bit overlooked, good GPP guy as well. Mark Leishman's going to be another guy I'm looking at this week. Jason Duffner, I can see they're both highlighted there. They both had some success here. As you can see, Jason Duffner's got 3 top 10s. He's made all 5 cuts in his last 5 years. Same with Leishman. He hasn't had a top 10, but he's kind of trending in the right direction. As you can see, probably going to be a little bit lower owned in that 9K plus range, just with some of these other guys, especially we're going to go over and we're going to have a look here at Fanshare Sports. See some of the guys that are highest tag. We'll get to that in just a second here. I'll sign in. Garcia hasn't played here in 4 years, but coming off of a 13th place finish in 2012. I believe he was T14 the year before in 2011 as well. So he does have some history here. He's trended down a little bit when it comes to the approach shots since his Masters win, but like I said, he's ranked right up there in the cheat sheet, number 1. He's the only player inside the top 10 in all 3 categories, so he's definitely someone I'm going to be looking at. Jordan Spieth, I'm not 100% what's going to happen with his ownership this week. We're going to go have a quick look here at FanShare. You can see Jason Duffner's right there at the top. Spieth kind of went down a bit since I looked. He's got 14 tags, 7 starts, 2 sit recommendations. One of those starts is probably mine from my article so far. So he's kind of in the middle when it comes to the high range guys. A lot of people, as you can see, Paul Casey, probably going to be one of the highest owned guys in that top range. 19 tags, 16 starts. So I think Spieth makes a good pivot. He's been struggling lately, switched to a new putter, but he's had great success here and no place to get back on track. He's a defending champ. I think he can go back-to-back for that 12. You pretty much need that back-to-back win, at least a top 2 finish in DraftKings points to pay off that $12,000 salary this week. And as you can see with that recent form, I think a lot of people are going to be off him. He might fall, probably in that 15% range. He's really been trending down when it comes to GPP average ownership lately since the Masters, where he's been pretty good. So, if you can get your guy, his price is going up, the ownership's going down, and he's got the upside to win, I think he definitely makes, if you're building some GPP lineups and maybe going away from the John Rahm or the Sergio Garcia or even the Paul Casey that's really trending high. As you can see, Spieth has a lot better course history than Paul Casey, so just for the ownership advantage, I think it makes sense to go to Spieth in GPP this week, even though he's struggling. So, one of my favorite plays this week, Pat Perez. Last time here, he finished T5. He's coming in with some good form, probably the best form of his career. He doesn't really rank good. I don't really like the way he ranks in the strokes gained off the tee and approach. It's kind of down there, but when you scroll over a little bit and look at the rest of his stats, he's 16th in par 4 scoring average, 2nd in that par 5 birdie or better percentage, so 6th in overall birdie or better percentage, and even scrambling and bogey avoidance, which I think are really big this week, he's right there as well. So he's going to be a top play. Sung Kang, he's been trending kind of really up when it comes to looking at the ownership side of things, but his form has been absolutely excellent. So he's going to be definitely one of my picks this week. Kyle Stanley, he's been really good when it comes to the stats side of things. So one guy's form, one guy's stats. So whichever one you choose, I think Kang is probably going to be a little bit higher owned. Coming over here, we're going to have a look. Doesn't look to be quite like last week. Yeah, 19th. Tagged 9 times, 6 times per start, 1 for a sit. So as you can see, he might be avoided this week a little bit, just thinking that his run might come to an end. And then looking at Kyle Stanley, he's right there at the top again, so he's going to be quite high owned. So I might be a little bit off thinking that Kang might be higher owned than Stanley. So Kang might be the better play. He's actually ranked higher in the overall weighted rankings. So I like them both. Probably going to stack them together in a lot of lineups in that mid 7K range. Gives you a lot of flexibility. You could even put them with Perez. You got a pretty good start there, at least in cash lineups. I don't play a lot of cash, but the upside's even there for these guys in GPPs as well. So it makes a nice balanced, if you want to go those 3 guys and maybe jump up here into the 8-9K range with some of these other guys. Makes a nice balanced approach this week. So dipping down a little farther, a couple guys I think maybe a little bit lower owned for a few reasons, like John Ha. He fits statistically. He's actually top 40 across the board when you're looking at stats, history, and form, but he never seems to be a high owned guy, usually in that 5 to 10% range. He's had some success here, as you can see. He's got a top 10 and 3 top 20s in his last 5 tournaments here. Not bad form, so definitely looking at him this week for GPP play in that 7K range. Bill Haas and Chris Stroud also rank good. Bill Haas more for the stats side of things. He seems to fit well when it comes to, we're going to go over and look at future of fantasy here. Bill Haas shows up in the top 25, actually probably closer to that top 15 when looking at strokes gained total, when looking at windy rounds. So definitely like him there, as well as his stats. 3rd in strokes gained around the green. He's an excellent scrambler, right up there in strokes gained tee to green overall, as well as strokes gained approach. So Bill Haas there. Chris Stroud more As you can see, his form has been absolutely horrible, same as Haas, but he fits the course history mold, so it's kind of one or the other. I think they're both going to come in fairly low owned, even though they are under 7K, just because they both are not there in the current form, and that usually ranks pretty high in a lot of people's models. So from a GPP perspective, I think both those guys make sense. Talked about Martin Laird in my article. He's ranked 20th in the overall. As you can see, the course history isn't completely there. He hasn't had a whole bunch of success here. The recent form isn't totally there, but when I look at the stats, he really fits the model. Top 20 in strokes gained tee to green, 24th in approach, 26th overall in the approach plus off the tee. So of course he's going to fit there in total driving. As you can see, he's top 20 in par 4 scoring average. Not so much a par 5 guy, but 17th in bogey avoidance and 14th in scrambling. So he fits a lot of those stats there, and I think he's going to be in that 5 to 10% range as well. So another GPP play. Going down a little bit farther, Ches Reavie ranks inside. As you can see, the top 50. He's 44th overall in my stats model this week. 71st last year. He finished 11th before that. He had taken a couple years off. 2013 he finished T11. He's another guy that doesn't really fit the current form. He's probably going to be overlooked just because of that current form. It hasn't been that great in the course history as well. But he's another accuracy guy that sits up there that I will be looking at this week. 5th in overall driving, actually 5th in good drive percentage. So going to be a guy I'm going to be looking at for sure. And that's about as low as I'm going to be going this week. So yeah, those are some of my favorite plays when it comes to tournaments. And if you have any other questions leading up to the tee off tomorrow, hit me up on Twitter at Jaeger_bombs9. Or else you can head over to dfsr.com and jump in the public chat room here. Once you're logged in, you click in here. Just right in the main chat rooms where I'm going to be hanging out for probably the next couple of days. I'm in there a lot with baseball, so I'm going to be in there till lock tomorrow night with PGA as well. Make sure to hit the like button below if you enjoy what I'm talking about here, if I'm helping you out at all. Leave any comments, anything I can add to the videos, possibly help you guys out a little bit more. And subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be out with a lot more videos coming up here, so subscribe and you're going to get notifications, email, or whatever, however you have it set up, and you're going to get access to those videos as soon as you can. Thanks for watching again. Good luck this week, and like I said, we'll see you in the chat room.